New Thought Media Network. We are a global broadcast network of positive music, media, and entertainment, inspiring humanity's evolution along the journey of enlightenment and creating a world of love, peace, empowerment, and prosperity for all. New Thought Media Network. Positively inspiring.
Welcome to Girls Behaving Metaphysically. Your hosts are two girls who believe that life is awesome, that laughter heals, and that it's possible to find deep spiritual insights in everyday experience.
Here come the girls. It's more than practical. Here come the girls. Way more than merely factual. If you want to know the secrets of a life, it's free. Listen to Girls Behaving Metaphysically. Listen to Girls Behaving Metaphysically.
Hello, hello, hello. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. We are Girls Behaving Metaphysically.
Yes, we are. I'm Dr. Natasha Wilson here in Brisbane, Australia.
Where it's early in the morning, right?
It is. Well, it's 8 a.m. now, so that's still pretty early.
Pretty early. And
Yeah.
I am Robyn Rice Olmsted. Apparently today I'm just Robyn Rice by my name, but it's okay. It's good to be independent some days. And I am in Albuquerque, New Mexico, where it is hot. It's hot and sweaty. Wah, wah. I know.
Well,
You know, worse things have happened in the world than the heat. So I will survive.
yeah. Well, we have ours coming soon. I can feel our very mild winter coming to an end.
Yeah.
Yeah. It could also be hot flashes, though. So I don't know. But they started going away. So I don't know.
That's how they can be, though. You just never know, right? You just never know.
Yeah. Yeah. How's
So
your week been?
it's been a good week. Yeah, it's been a
Yeah.
good week. I mean, I think, I was thinking about the show and what I wanted to talk about, and I was thinking about time, just talking about time. I feel like time is so interesting, It's like I don't remember having too much time since I was like 6. Like when I was like, I'm bored. But I don't remember after that, like there's always like something to do or something going on. So it's busy. It's busy. And, as we were, as I was having the conversation with our producer beforehand, it's like, I am always doing something. I'm on some committee or I'm on something. Something. So it's busy, but it's good. I mean, apparently I keep having to say to myself, well, apparently you like it because this has been the way your life is. So apparently there's something about it that you really like. So
Yeah.
How about you?
Yeah, no, my week has not been as busy because, as you might remember and, our viewers might remember, I've just been moving really slow. I actually just, I don't know. I feel like life, I know all of life is a cycle. And I do feel like, so I've been offered, I was offered a modeling job this week, and I haven't modeled in, I think the last time I modeled was at the end of 2023. And I kind of just stick with this like one agency and one company that I really like to work for. And, I get to be their like fabulous over 45 kind of person. But yeah, I don't know. I've been sitting on, do I want to do this? Because so much has changed since like menopause really came on. And since like the combination of menopause and grief, together, it's just it's just taking a bit of a toll on my body. And so I've just, I'm sitting with it. And then I don't know. I really like this. I really like this company. So I feel like I want to say yes, but it also means like I probably need to start exercising again. I just don't want to.
Well, can I comment on that?
Yeah, comment.
I know that's what
we're
do.
here to do. Comment.
I know, but I didn't want to like intrude on the process. I mean, I would say to you, don't overthink it. Don't overthink it. Is it going to be fun for you? Is it going to be,
It's always fun. It's always fun. But I do need to be able to fit the clothes because it's like it's a like a sportswear like lifestyle brand.
Yeah.
And so I do need to be able to like feel comfortable in the clothing, if that makes sense,
Yeah.
So I just have to, I'm not overthinking it. I just want to feel like, does my soul say yes? And like, yeah, it feels like it's leaning towards yes, but I also feel like it's leaning towards me moving. Like, I don't know if you ever moved to the other side of grief, but I do feel like, okay, so saying yes to this is really a confirmation that I'm ready to sort of get back into life, right? Like
that life goes on, so to speak.
Yeah, but like I'm ready to like move my body again. I'm ready to exercise. I'm ready to like re-engage life, So yeah, so it's just interesting sitting with it all, sitting with how it's coming. And then I also said yes to a job interview, which I don't even know why I did that, but that's another story. Whatever.
Again, I swear to you, so I'm just speak for myself. Nowadays, at this age, at this stage, at this moment in my life, if I can't, even things like job interviews, like when I'm like, are you kidding me? I haven't had a job interview in so long, because usually I know somebody who knows what I do, that knows that. And it's like, can you make it fun? Can it just be fun? Can you interview them? Can you play the game with yourself of what is it? Why am I really here? And what am I here to do? And can I shine my light here? Is this, does this fit to my purpose? And not get stuck in, whatever.
I do think that is the beauty about this stage of life, right? Like this stage of life, like 5 decades on planet Earth. It's just like, it is like, I just feel like I'm not going to say yes to a job that doesn't feel fun. I mean, ultimately, I'd basically be doing the kind of work that I already do. And so, there's fun in that, but I am definitely the like I said, the benefit of being at this stage of life is like, you can choose what you say. At least I do. I feel like it's a privilege to be like, I can say yes to this or I can say no to it. And either way, I know I'm going to be okay. You know? Because I've had enough life to show me that.
It is the beauty of it. And to be able to stand in the truth of what you want, like what brings you joy, what gives you, fulfills you, that kind of thing.
Yeah. Absolutely.
It's a whole different thing. But I will say today I went to, so I got a job too, but it was one of those things like where, I don't know, I just had a feeling I was going to work with this woman. So I said to her, when we were at some other meeting, I was like, I need a job. And she was like, okay, well, what do you do? And so I just started talking about things I've done with kids and creating curriculum and working with parents and kids and parenting classes and la, 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 la. And she's like, oh my God, okay. So anyway, so we're in the middle of this whole curriculum thing. Now, I pulled Gil in because Gil and I created a parenting workshop or class that was parents and kids. So I pull him in, and so she's like, oh yeah, he's great too. I mean, she knew him. So we go today to the meeting, And we were like seventh graders because I was like, Gil, we haven't done what we were supposed to do. We haven't done our work. Oh, we go, and she's like, do you guys want to go first and present? I'm like, I swear I know I look like a deer in headlights. And I look at him and he's like, don't look at me. I'm like, but it was so interesting because I'm like, okay, Robyn, why are you here? Why did you not do what you were supposed to do? And what the hell is happening? So it's all just so interesting to me. Like, I don't know. It seems like every stage of life and the moment is a new lesson,
Yes,
like,
I agree.
it's like I'm so the observer of my life. I'm like, look at me. When I just looked at him, I'm like, talk, say something,
Say something. Yeah.
and finally his minister mode kicked in and he said something and she was like, oh yeah, that's of course she thought it was brilliant and I was like, whatever.
Hmm.
Yeah, so but it's interesting, like, as opposed to really being down on myself for what I didn't do and all of this, I'm just like, get your stuff together and do what you're supposed to do. But it's not like I can linger in that place of, what I did.
But isn't there like this other thing, Robyn? Like, when I don't know. I feel like it's this stage of life. And I feel like I know for me, like I've been honing my craft for a while now. And I don't know. I just feel like it's like second nature. That's why I don't choose, like, like even with this job interview, like I didn't apply for it. It came to me, and so it's like, yeah, I I'm so grateful that I just get to show up and kind of do what I already do and decide if I say yes or no. And I think that's the thing when you say like Gil just sort of flowed into like minister mode. I think that's sort of like how I feel about when these people reached out to me, it's like, yeah, I've been doing this and I do this work in a heartful way, and it's from my soul. It's because I do have a deep love for the human condition, and I let that be the thing, and then I'm not, it's just like,
Yes, and this is an interesting topic. I think that yes, and so when I hear you say that, what comes for me is I go, well, yeah, but you have 9,000 degrees and different areas of expertise. I have all these areas of expertise and no degrees, and I've never had like a one job title, because I was an actor, I was a entertainment person, so people would be like, but what do you do to make money? And I'd be like, oh, I'm teaching, or I'm waitressing, or I'm blah blah, or but I was never like, I wasn't a teacher with a degree from a school that I went and I then taught. I was a drama teacher that I could teach it after school programs and in different creative programs. And not that that's any less important. I get it. I'm not saying that, but you know what I mean? It's like, normally what would have happened to me today, it would have been, oh my God, this isn't me. I so shouldn't do this. I don't really know that I know what they want me to know. And if I did, I would have gone into that kind of doubting myself mode. I didn't,
yeah.
but you know what I mean? And I think I'm just saying it appears to me that it might be somewhat easier if I was like, well, yes, I'm a doctor of psychology. No, that was my major in college, but I didn't get a degree in that, or no, I'm an anthropologist, or I'm a this, or I'm that. You know what I mean? So it's just interesting to now stand in that place of knowing that whatever I do, it's valuable, and I don't know. You know what I mean? Because I don't have the paperwork for it.
Yeah. Well, what's interesting is that even when I think about, yes, I have a lot of degrees, and because that's kind of, well, it's just how I'm wired. I like to learn, and I like to learn in structured, formal ways. And when I think about how I approach work, whether it's teaching anthropology, whether it's as a therapist, as a psychotherapist, whatever it is, right? I only have degrees in 2 fields. Well, 3: women's studies. What do you do with that? You teach. Anthropology, you teach and you do research, and clinical social work. So I practice as a licensed clinician. All that said, the degrees that I never completed, which I don't even know if they're degrees, right? So my time studying at Agape, my time studying New Thought, my time in Interfaith Seminary, it's that work that I did not complete for various reasons. I didn't complete, but it informs everything I do. And it informs how I approach my work, right? Whether it's as an anthropologist or a researcher or a clinical social worker, it is that work that I did not complete that informs and really makes how I do the work stand out in so many ways. So, I think degrees can open doors, like they can. And then it's like, but what do you bring when you walk through the door? Yeah, absolutely. And I bring soulful presence, through everything I've learned through New Thought, and all the ways I didn't finish or go into ministry technically like I always thought I would. Right. So yeah.
So, but it's as you were talking about being this age, it's a good culmination point where it really feels like you can really just breathe into whoever you are and be who you are. I mean, that's the lesson at this stage, that's right. Wherever you are is exactly where you're supposed to be.
Yes, the benefits of aging. I think we don't talk about it enough, actually.
Yeah. And part of the benefits sometimes are, I just don't give a damn.
Yeah. No, seriously. I remember my grandma when I interviewed her. It's a long story, but I remember when I interviewed my grandma a long time ago now. She's since passed. But I remember her telling me, like, aging gave her this sort of, I don't know. My grandma was queer. And she'd just be like, no, I just flirt with girls. And she was like, there's like no like pretense. She's like, I just flirt openly now because, she'd reached the stage in her life where she was like, I'm gonna flirt openly. And she did. Who I am. And I learned a lot from her during those years. Let me tell you, some good pickup lines. So
that sounds like a book or something. Pickup lines from Grandma.
Mm-hmm. She was something else, man.
All right. Well, I am going to invite you, if you're so inclined and watching, if you could like us and do all that stuff on the Facebook and the Instagram page, we'd really appreciate it. And I'm going to suggest that we take a break. And when we come back, we'll do our card pull of the week and see what that brings up. Sound good to you, Natasha?
Sounds great to me.
Okay. We like great. Great is great. That's great. Tony the Tiger. Remember that? Great. Okay.
Yes.
All right. So, we're not drinking today, but could you tell that? Who knows? Anyway, we're going to take a break and hear some words from our sponsors and then come right back here to New Thought Media Network.
Please help us say thank you to our organizational sponsors, including the Hefferland Foundation, Affiliated New Thought Network, International New Thought Alliance, Science of Mind Archives and Library Foundation, Center for Spiritual Living Denver, Center for Spiritual Living Midtown, New Thought Philadelphia, Planned Happiness Institute, Summit Center for Spiritual Living, One Heart Retreats, Center for Spiritual Living on the Lake, Unity Kitchener, Unity Spiritual Center, Ottawa, Om Center for Spiritual Living, Satya Center, Begin Within Ministries, Center for Spiritual Living, North Jersey, Unity of Savannah, and the Center for Spiritual Living, Seattle, as well as all of our individual donors. Thank you for being part of the New Thought Media Network. Please like, share, and subscribe. New Thought Media Network, positively inspiring.
Well, hello there. This is Dr. Sydney Steen. I am the senior minister and spiritual leader of the North Hollywood Church of Religious Science. We are a oneness center for spiritual living. And I just want to invite you to something that I think is really, really special. In October, from the 6th to the 10th, at Unity Village in Lee Summit, Missouri, the affiliated New Thought Network will be hosting the most wonderful retreat. This will serve your soul. It will lift your heart. And oh my goodness, I want to call it an advance. So come hear wonderful speakers like Martha Creek, Sonny Cantrell, and the music will be off the hook with Ricky Byers. There will be so much there to support your soul. I hope that you will join us. You can go to antn.org. That's antn.org. You can get all the information. You can sign up. You can use a credit card, and it is safe and secure, and I hope to see you there. Have a blessed day.
Welcome to Girls Behaving Metaphysically. Your hosts are two girls who believe that life is awesome, that laughter heals, and that it's possible to find deep spiritual insights in everyday experience.
Here come the girls. It's more than practical. Here come the girls. Way more than merely factual. If you want to know the secrets of a life that's free, listen to Girls Behaving Metaphysically. Listen to Girls Behaving Metaphysically.
Hello, welcome back. We are Girls Behaving Metaphysically.
Yes, I am Dr. Natasha Wilson here in Brisbane, Australia.
And I am Robyn Rice Olmsted here in Albuquerque, New Mexico. And we're glad you're here wherever you're here from. Let us know in the chat. Feel free to drop some comments in there. And if you need to go make a drink, because apparently that's what our show does, is drive people to drink.
Oh my goodness.
Sometimes healthy smoothies though.
Yes.
So it is now time for our card pull of the week. And this is where we pull a spiritual card to see what's coming up and what wants to be shared with us via the cards, via spirit, for our week gone by or our week coming up, but just what's being called forth. So today I am pulling from the Soulful Woman deck. I needed to switch decks. I was tired of the other one. So I'm going to shuffle, and Natasha's going to tell me when.
Okay. You started? Okay.
And if you're out there, just think of something in your head, and maybe this will be the answer to it for you.
Okay. Stop.
In the flow. Let me see. There you go. In the flow.
Mm-hmm.
In the flow. When I am in the flow, magic happens.
Hmm.
Well, that's the truth.
Yeah. I'm writing it down because I like to write things down and then sort of look
In the
at the words. When I'm in the flow, magic happens. Yeah,
Yes.
that makes sense. Yeah. Because we're not in resistance.
Right.
Yeah. I find like resistance is the key to the opposite of magic.
Yeah. It's true. If only we could remember that more often. So
Yeah.
this card says, when I am in the flow, doors open and lights change to green before me. When I am
Yep.
in the flow, I relax and am guided in ways I hadn't thought of. Each step, each person, each connection is revealed to me. When I am in the flow, a cosmic yes mirrors the yes from within my heart, and magic happens.
Yeah.
But if I find myself pushing for what I want, if I find I am dissatisfied or frustrated, I may be out of flow. To rediscover my inner flow, I stop and notice any resistance I'm experiencing. Outer resistance may be universal feedback telling me no or not now. Or inner resistance may be my own deep knowing that no, this isn't right. Then an opening can occur, a small crack in my thinking that reveals something new, and I get back in the flow, trusting that the flow is taking me where I need to go. When I'm in the flow, magic happens.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So, I love things like that. And I also get curious as to what methods people use when they're not in the flow or how to get back. Because I think, as we've talked about various times on this show in different ways, there are ways we lose sight of ourselves and, or that knowingness. I mean, we can all sit here now and be kumbaya in the flow, and I know I am one with the one, but there are times when you don't, or I should say when I don't, like when you have that moment of WTF, what's going on. So do you have any tips or thoughts on that?
I think I might have mentioned to you. No, I know I've mentioned to you. It's not about like being out of the flow or in the flow. I think it's about like remembering and forgetting. Right. And I think that is the sort of, I don't know, I feel like, as I try to open my heart to the human condition, and that means opening my heart to the way the human condition shows up in me, I realize it's not about not being in the flow, because I'm always in sort of like the universal ocean. Yeah. It's that I forget that I am. It's like the part of our brain that has evolved to survive, right, is like up and active, and so I can't remember. I don't have access to the part of the brain. Like literally, we know the neurobiology of this now. Like we literally don't have access to the part of the brain that helps us remember from a sort of higher place of consciousness when the amygdala is up. And the amygdala gets up when we're moving too fast, right? And we're rushing around. That's when we forget. And so the thing is, like, that's not like a like a bad thing. It's neither good nor bad. It's about like, oh, it's when I become aware that I'm doing that. And sometimes I become aware sooner, and sometimes I become aware a lot later, meaning after I've already worked myself up and I've done all these things, and
Right.
just from pure exhaustion, I'm pulled back into remembering, right? But when I become conscious of it, I really just start to speak slower. I realize, like, sometimes, depending on if there are people around or I'm engaged with people, they think I'm weird, but I literally start to put pauses between my words, and it forces me to slow down. Sometimes I just put a hand here, because we know this begins the process of like easing the vagus nerve, right? And it's sort of an ancient human, almost universal sort of gesture. But now we understand the neuroscience behind it, right? So like, even just doing that can start the process of remembering again. And again, like I said, sometimes I don't remember until like the next day after I don't work myself up or whatever the case is, because I've forgotten. But something about, for me, like, just when I catch it, just purposely moving slow on purpose.
Well, I think there's that's a really good point. And because, my go-to thing is always the breath, and really just stopping and taking a breath. If I just stop and take a breath in the middle of the nothingness, and just let it be that moment of the nothingness or the unknown kind of thing, it kind of recalibrates my thinking and my beingness, so I can go back to center. Now, granted, I also think it has something to do with what we were talking about earlier, and that is, different age, different stage, because there's, regardless of what we've been doing for the last 40 years, whether it's New Thought or whatever, 40, 50 years, we've been existing in this place where we now have a cellular memory of different things, and we can go to that place a lot quicker and a lot easier and cut through some of the crap. Like at 20, it would have been the end of the world. Like, oh my God, he broke up with me or whatever, and you spin out. Whereas now, if he broke up with me, I'd be like, oh, it's too bad. It's lost. And, some variation of that.
No, I do. Do I know? Yes, I do. Yeah, I do. I totally do.
You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
So I just think it's interesting. I think that, but I love what you're saying, the tactile things, especially to remember. There is one thing I do that not in that situation, but it made me think of that when you said that. And I was in this seminar once with T. Harv Eker, Millionaire Mind, back in the day when that was very popular. And one thing he said was, when you're with people who are saying something that isn't true or isn't true for you, like, oh, the world's going to end kind of thing, to hold your fingers like this, your thumb and your index finger. And so, like, I do that, like, subconsciously all the time when people are talking to me, telling me about, sometimes clients, like, telling me their story. Like, I have to do it to, like, just, I think it just triggers for me that this isn't your story. I'm not taking this on, which is kind of what keeps you in the flow.
Yeah.
To not take on the stuff, because especially, whether, being an empathic person, as many of us are, or not, we're still taking on everything that's going on in the world.
Yeah. we are the world, you know, like I'm sorry, I'm thinking of that song from, I don't know, was that the 80s? We are the world. So there's no separating us from the happenings of the world, right? I remember so when I did my research for my dissertation, I started off it was during the whole Occupy Wall Street movement. Do you guys remember that? Or I don't know, it never really became a movement, but the protest, the Occupy Wall Street protest. And I was interviewing people who were participating in the Occupy Boston protest. But I remember there was regularly the sort of nuns and monks and practitioners in the sort of like practice line of Thich Nhat Hanh would come and sit in the middle of like Dudley Square and just meditate. And the whole field would change. And like literally, and that's what really shifted my research. But it was like the whole field would change. Not saying like, not in this like we understand why that happens now, you know, we understand why that works. But it was so interesting because I would put myself in the observer position and start noticing how the conversations in the encampments begin to change. The conversations were about, you know, like how we want to build a community, what it is that we want, and like, you know, like what's the vision for like why we're doing this. It's like it was like the whole energy changed, right? And so we were still all out there, right? Sort of in the Occupy protest, which was about like calling out and which has continued, but more people are aware of this deep disparity in wealth, right? Between, you know, it's like the slogan back then was we were the 99%, we are the 99%, right? And but it's like 1% who owns all this wealth. And so we were still there, but the energy of how we were there shifted, right? So I feel the reason I'm saying this is because I think there's this thing that sometimes there's this belief that we have to turn away from the suffering in the world. No, the suffering in the world reflects something in us. And our job, right? So, you know, Thich Nhat Hanh will talk about it as the Tonglen practice, where we use our own awareness to be the point of transformation for suffering, right? So like, it means we don't have to engage in like the sort of spiritual bypassing. It means we don't have to pretend like there isn't a part of the human condition that is deeply in need of healing. So, but just that, right? These monks and nuns sitting in the flow, holding that space for us, the same way that practitioners do, right? Like during a service, right? They're anchoring presence, right?
Right.
And it has a powerful impact.
So say that again. So you use our own awareness. What did you say? To be
I was talking about Tonglen, the practice of Tonglen, right? Where we don't turn away from suffering. We turn towards suffering. And I think that's what we do as therapists and practitioners. We turn towards suffering. And the practice of Tonglen means we breathe in the suffering and we use our own breath and our heart as the point of transmutation, so that when we're breathing out like what the world needs. We're breathing out light and love. It's almost the opposite of like, you know, when we first learned to meditate, you know, like whatever, where it's like, breathe in the light, breathe out all the pain, breathe in the happiness and breathe out the suffering. No, it's actually the opposite. It's like, no, we don't have to do spiritual bypassing. We breathe in the suffering and we use the power of spirit as it is us, as the point of transmutation to breathe out into the world, like
Right.
what we need, what we want to see more of. So yeah. And all somehow that was all about being in the flow. Okay.
No, but it makes sense. It makes sense.
Mm.
Yeah, and I think, yeah, because when I'm in the flow, I mean, I do feel I feel in sync,
Mm.
with everything.
Mm. Mm. I can tell something really profound is moving through your awareness right now.
I don't know what it is. I'm just thinking about it. Well, it's interesting because the card underneath the in the flow card was this card that keeps staring at me, the unknown.
Ah. Mm.
The
Mm.
unknown.
Mm.
Okay,
Mm.
what's that about, sister? What do you got to say?
No, because like it's so interesting. Like I took a lot of work off this. I took off a lot of work this past week, but I did work with a client yesterday, and that that was the theme of the work, or the underlying well, they spoke about it as uncertainty. And one of the things that we did in the work was to reframe uncertainty with the unknown, and how the unknown is really a place of magic, right? So it's really this again, it's all this, it's the survival part of us that feels like we need to know, we need to make certain. And the moment we do that, we drop out of mystery, we drop out of the mystical. And so we reframed it by making the unknown welcome, right? Making the unknown magic. And yeah, so anyways, that's just what was coming up. And it's just, I know, it's just moments like that when you pull those kinds of cards, and it's just like, oh yeah, this is a unified field of oneness. So this makes sense that this is the card that's showing.
Yeah, and I think it makes sense that it goes within the flow. It says, I bow to the infinite intelligence of the cosmos, and my next steps are revealed.
Yes.
And so it is that letting go and being in the moment and in the unknown. I mean, I was in a meeting today. Yeah, I was in a meeting today, and they, people are like talking about, well, if we do this, this will happen. If we don't do this, and if we move, and if we don't move, and if we look for a space, and if we don't, and I was like, you're not going to know no matter what you choose. You're not going to know. We don't know, and so I think like the beauty of really being able to be in the unknown and in the flow is, yes, we make choices. We listen. We feel what's right. We know what's right on some level. And, just really being able to be there, be present to that.
Oh my God, Robyn. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. You know what? We just got to start. We have got to have a show about the connection between spirituality and sensuality and sexuality, because I don't know about you, but when I start talking about all this stuff, I just be like, oh, it's such a turn on. Like, it turns my brain on, it turns my body on. It could also be menopause. I don't know. But I'm just saying, like, it is like talking about this stuff. Like, there's such a beautiful sensuality to it. And it makes me like Rumi. You know how Rumi, had that ecstatic relationship with the divine? Like, this stuff is like really powerful. Like, I can literally, like, the unknown is so sexy.
The unknown is very sexy. And not only the unknown, but the power of being in the unknown. Like,
it's so sexy.
Yeah, sexy.
I think we need to like, I honestly think like we have work to do to reframe this, because so much about the unknown in the West is like scary. And literally it's like, it's that fear of the unknown that has driven the way we treat each other. But I think when we're in a spiritual practice, and I think that's what we talk about when we talk about, you know, being involved in New Thought for the last 40 years or whatever our spiritual practice has been for whatever, that practice reframes our experience of some of the very concepts that we used to run away from, right? Like literally, I was talking to someone the other day about how the void, you know, how Dr. Joe Dispenza talks about it, but also it's another way to talk about the unknown, but how the void is literally captured in the word avoid, right? And so then we go out of our ways to avoid the void through denial and all sorts of things. But once we start to cultivate a practice of going to the void on purpose, it's very sexy. I love it. It's very sexy. So sexy. Get with it, people.
Well, I mean, not to marginalize what you're saying, but I'm going to just put it in like real terms for me. It's like when you're in a relationship, for me, when I'm in a relationship and my partner has a plan or makes a decision, or, you know, it's like that knowingness that here it is, I have a plan. It doesn't matter if the plan happens, even. It's just about that confidence and that thought, you know, and a lot of times, like when Gil and I are working on workshops or things to present, or like talks, it's like we'll say, you know, we got to do the work and do the plan just so we have something to diverge from, you know. It's like being okay to go into the unknown. It's like, you know, it's like putting on your life vest before you jump out of the plane kind of thing. Doesn't mean you know what's going to happen, but you do what you do to be safe, you know, or to think, you know, to feel good.
And then you then, if you talk about jumping on a plane, then you're giving over to something larger than yourself. You're giving over to gravity. You're giving over to whatever, right? I just feel like, yeah, I don't know. Like, this is why I do like to study like Tantra, and because it really is about looking at how this stuff is all deeply interconnected. And I'm not joking. I find this practice of being in the flow, this practice of sort of surrendering to the infinite intelligence, the divine order, there is a sensuality in it, and it's so beautiful, right? Like there is no disconnect between being deeply in touch with our bodies, which are meant to be sensual, and being deeply connected to spirit. And it just, everything feels different. Like when we cultivate this as a practice, everything feels different.
Which is really the whole basis for the show. That everything is, you know, is that space of metaphysical, or of love, or of beingness. You know, when we're sitting in as our authentic selves, then it can't be wrong. You know,
literally, honestly, there comes a space, and I know that I felt this, where like right and wrong fades. It just fades, you know? And there's just a field, and there's just awareness. And from awareness, we can make conscious choice, right? And so it's so beautiful. Like I literally can feel it all over my skin. It's just beautiful. I just feel like this is how we can live, you know? Like it's not woo-woo.
no, and it's not out there. It's in here.
It's literally in here. Yeah, literally. Okay, I didn't expect that to happen. All right, I better put my shirt back on.
Well, we can feel it on your skin too. Very sexy. Anyway. But it is, I mean, I think that the point being, when you hit that authentic place, it's so integrated in our being. It is, I mean, I'm sorry, I'm going to go here, but it's just like a climaxing. I mean, it's like that point of.
Don't apologize. Do not apologize.
I'm apologizing to our producer because I know he's sweating. But you know what I mean? It is that point of feeling that we're all one and really.
Yeah, I mean, that is the whole point. I mean, I think that is the point of a physical climax. It's this union. It is this like, this is why I'm telling you, like, I know what Rumi was doing when Rumi was writing, because like, okay, I'm just saying. So Rumi said, meet me in that field. Rumi said, meet me in that field.
All right. Well, maybe we'll have to explore some Rumi.
No, I think I'm going to combine my grandma's, like, you know, how she like taught me like all these great pickup lines. When, you know, I think I'm going to combine them with like some spiritual talk. I'm be like, meet me in that field.
Yeah. There you go.
That field of unified.
You know, my favorite thing of your grandma, my favorite thing is you got to do the walk. So.
Oh yeah, the Mississippi walk. Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, the Mississippi walk, and anybody would meet you in the field then, girl.
Yes, follow me to the fields, honey.
Anyway, all of that, whether you know what we're talking about or not, all of that is about truly knowing who you are, and you know, just being able to embody your authentic self. And so as we go out this week, I just want to remind you that to be in the flow is really an invitation, and we all can get there. So where can you stop? Where can you pause? Where can you breathe? Where can you, you know, touch your heart, or just pause, you know? And can you look at situations or that? Mm-hmm. Can you look at situations that you might not agree with and be able to say, that's just not the way that I would do it. And let it be okay. Like, where can we, you know, because when we do things like that, we let it go. We don't carry it around with us. So,
and you know what else we do, Robyn? We model another way to be. We model another way to be in the world.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is very important at this time.
Absolutely.
Very important, because there are people that don't have these skills and don't know how to do it. And we're, you know, our job is holding space, right? So
yeah.
As when we can, the more centered and in the flow we are, the better.
The more people that come to the fields. I'm about to like run that metaphor home today, honey. So
all right. So the invitation is to stay in the flow and to meet us in the field next week. Okay. So we will be back here next week on New Thought Media Network. And we just want to give a big shout out to New Thought Media for all that it does for holding space for the world, and knowing that we truly are creating a place where we can live in that positively inspiring force field. So
meet us in the field.
In the field. We are in the field, all of it. So if you're so moved to give a donation, we invite you to do that. You could do it several ways. We try to make it as easy and effortless for you. And even if you donate $5 a month, it still makes a big difference. So join us in the field, and we'll see you next week.
Peace and blessings.
Bye.
Bye.